Yo, what up, Internet? It's Truanseez, back at it again. Another class skip for all the right reasons. Before I get started, I just want to say rest in peace to Dark Man X. You're a legend, and we lost another one.
Right,
but you're never forgotten. Just remember, it was bigger than rap with you. With me today, I got a model, musician, just a creative with style, Floyd Zion.
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's going on?
Hey, man, I want to say thank you for coming through on such short notice.
Hell yeah. Hell no.
And I've been meaning to get a conversation in with you, so again, just thank you for coming through, for real.
Nah, hell yeah, bro. Like, for sure. I mean, I've been meaning to come and link with you guys
For sure.
for a long time, honestly. And I think this is the right day.
I'm glad we're getting in right now.
Yeah.
And, but with that being said, how was the drive over here?
The drive was smooth. It was a long drive coming from LA, but it was smooth. Talking to the homies on the way here. I like to have meetings on my long drives, with the homies, and get all my business shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was with the homies on the phone right now, just talking about some games and shit like that. So
There you go. Hell yeah. All right, man. So let's just get into it, though. I wanna start with the origins of Floyd Zion. Where were you born? Where were you raised? I know you said you've been all around, the country.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So I was born in California. I was born in San Bernardino, California.
Oh,
actually.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
I'm from the IE too, Ontario.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was born in San Bernardino, California, and I lived here for. I grew up here, went to school, was going to school here till about 8 years old. But my parents, they're Nigerian.
Okay, yeah.
So
I see you repping the Nigerian flag in your Instagram. So
exactly. So my parents are Nigerian. I'm actually first generation born out here.
okay.
So my dad, in what year was that? 1999. He goes to Nigeria, runs for an election,
Oh shit.
and he actually wins.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this nigga is crazy, and he actually wins. So he became a part of their legislative branch out there.
Dope.
So at that point, in the year 2000, I want to say, I moved to Nigeria.
So you were out there for a bit.
Yeah.
How old were you
there.
when you were out there?
I was 8 years old when I got out there.
Okay.
Had no idea I was going to live out there. I thought I was going on a vacation.
Your parents didn't tell you?
They didn't tell us who was going to live out there.
And how you have siblings?
Yeah.
How many?
I got an older brother,
Okay.
an older sister. My sister's older than all of us. And then a younger brother.
Okay, so you're right
it's
in the
four
middle.
of us. Yeah,
Right.
so I'm right in the middle. And so they took us out there on a summer vacation. And
That's
I ended
wild.
up living there for 3 years.
Damn.
So, I lived there for 3 years. So, I actually wasn't in the States during, September 11th and shit.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And then I came back and I moved to Houston in 2003.
Okay.
So,
And by that time, were you entering middle school?
yeah, I was
Yeah.
entering middle school at that time. And I moved to Houston my first time in Texas on another summer vacation.
Damn.
I went from Nigeria to Houston on a summer vacation,
Yeah.
and I ended up staying there for 10 years.
That's a very interesting way to perceive summer vacations, because
Right,
I can only
bro.
imagine as a kid when you look at your parents being like, we're going on a summer vacation, be like, yo, we really going on vacation or are we staying somewhere?
It's like, and you gotta imagine, because you're going on summer vacation, you don't you don't have a going away party. You don't tell all your
Yeah, you just
friends.
dip.
You just leave. You
Yeah.
know, it's like summer. And so I would just leave. Like when I left California, I just left, no big deal. And I just didn't come back.
Yeah. And then you
So-
didn't come back to California, you went straight to Texas when
Exactly.
you did.
So I didn't even reconnect with some of the people from when I was in California, the people that I grew up with,
Yeah.
until MySpace came out.
Oh shit, so you started linking back up.
Yeah, when MySpace came out, I was able to actually find some of my classmates from when I was living in California.
Damn.
Because I'm sure people wondered what happened to this kid.
you just
Did he
dipped, yeah.
fucking die? What? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and even the same way when I left Nigeria, when I left Nigeria and I moved to Texas, it was the same thing. I didn't really tell anybody I was leaving or
Yeah.
nothing. So I didn't get communication with them till Facebook.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
crazy.
So you were in like, I would say around 3rd grade when you first dipped to Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
You said you were 8 years old, and then where were you going to school? Out in San Bernardino when you were a kid in elementary?
Yeah, I was going to this school called, I don't think they're open anymore. It's called Resurrection Academy.
Okay.
It was a Catholic school. Like growing up in there in the church and shit like that. And so, yeah, I was out there for a minute, and then I ended up moving.
And then you go to Nigeria, and then you come back to Houston, and then from there, when you're in Houston, you're in middle school. Are you like, where does music come into play?
So music, so it's funny because music came into play many parts of my life. Like
Even as a kid?
yeah,
through the church?
yeah, as a kid, because it's like, as a kid, I grew up like watching like Michael Jackson, and so like I would just perform at that time. Like I would just be like doing like dancing, trying to dance like Michael, trying to dress like Michael at that time and shit like that. And it was like a thing that I was just performing to my family.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Nigeria, I forced my parents to buy me a guitar just so I can like
Learn
look
something.
like, not even learn, but just look like I was playing
Okay.
actually, and just feel
Oh,
rock
for
out
sure.
in my room
Hell
type
yeah.
shit. So it was still just about performing in a way.
But
And
what made you choose the guitar? Who were you looking at that had a guitar? Was it Prince? Was it, because Mike obviously was the dance move.
Yeah,
Do
like
you remember?
I wasn't really. I just knew that like, I don't know, like the guitar is just such a sexy instrument,
It truly is.
and it just felt right.
Yeah.
Like as for me, but I
you
didn't
remember
even
what
start
guitar it was?
playing. It was acoustic, like it was like a green, like patchy green acoustic guitar.
Some starter, some like little starter.
Some starter shit,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But I never learned how to actually play on it. I was just like use it for effects in a way. But I did start writing when I was like,
In Nigeria?
Yeah, in Nigeria,
Okay,
I
and-
started writing music.
And at that time, what's music culture like over there? Because when we were 8, you know, MTV was popping.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike was still relevant
Exactly.
as fuck. I actually, to go back on it, just yesterday I went back and watched Mike's performance of the Super Bowl in '93, where he just fucking keeps his glasses on and he tells the producer like, "I'm only starting once the glasses come off." You see? Have you seen that video?
Yes.
It's epic as fuck. Like a general. Mike had
He has so many
everyone
epic
yelling for like
moments,
10, 15 minutes. It was wild.
It's so funny. I've always been all over the place because I've always loved like pop music.
Yeah.
I've loved pop music, but then at the same time, I've always been so deep in like hip hop,
Of course.
rock. I've been so deep in those like genres and shit. So like at that time, like coming out of California, you know, like I'm like a Pac like fucking head
Okay.
as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm a big and then at the same time, Nelly just drops like Country Grammar, smacks guys over the head with that. So I'm like a huge Nelly fan.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Ludacris fan at the time.
Classic. Word of mouth. One of my
Word of
favorite,
mouth. You
one of
get
my
what I'm
favorite
saying?
albums. Yeah.
So like exactly.
Yeah.
So like that was my first favorite album.
Now I gotta ask though, were your parents heavily involved in the church?
No, my parents were not heavily involved in the church.
So they let you
just-
listen to this music?
Of course, my mom bought like Snoop Dogg's like album, like
Doggy Style?
Yeah, she had the like shit on
There we
vinyl,
go.
on cassette.
Yeah.
Like she loved that project. So I grew up like Snoop Dogg was probably my first like actual like.
Gin and Juice was the first song I learned word for word.
You get what
rap.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like I think that my mom grew me up on that and a lot of Bobby Brown.
I was just listening to New Edition,
You
Bobby
get
Brown
what I'm
yesterday
saying?
too.
So it's like my mom put me on that. A lot of, but also shit like this song I always remember. You gotta know when to fold.
Yeah.
Know when to fold.
Yeah.
Know when that song. Oh my God, my mama listened to that shit all the time as well. ABBA. She was a huge ABBA fan.
So are your parents relatively young, like when they had you guys, or what's the situation?
They were. I would say that, yeah. I mean, probably they already had me by, I guess, my age probably.
And I
So
only
guess,
asked that because to be so, open-minded with music, because
Right.
from a lot of people that I know, their parents were into music, but they weren't. There was a lot of situations where they weren't allowed to listen to a lot of things, especially the hip hop and the rock coming out of that time period.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Now my parents, they love music. I think they know how to separate music from
Reality.
reality in a way and just enjoy the music. And I think that's one thing I've been blessed with, I guess, because I do hear that with a lot of people's parents that have held them from here and here.
Yeah.
But like my parents have never tried to like stop me from listening to like anything.
That's good, man. Because
Yeah.
I hear a lot of traumatic experience from stories, other podcasts I listen to of people being like, dude, my dad or my stepdad found this punk album that I was listening to, and he like broke it in front of me and said, if I ever catch you listening to this shit again, like I'm gonna whoop your ass. And it's like some parents take it that far, you know, and it's like, I can never imagine. And I'm grateful that my family embraced music too.
You're right.
But I hear these stories of people's parents that are just lunatics, and a lot of it is correlated with church
You're right,
shit.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Oh yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's very true actually.
So, and it's just kind of contradicting and it's hypocritical, unfortunately, sometimes a lot of those kids end up rebelling against their parents and end up listening to it another way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's crazy. So that's cool that you didn't have to experience that, because similar to my life, my pops was very open-minded on taking me to warehouse. Do you remember warehouse music at all?
No.
It was like, before Best Buy, there was a spot called Warehouse Music, and it was in the IE. There was a lot of them.
Okay.
And it was just a spot where I would just go get all my CDs and my posters and my stickers of like all the stuff that was coming out during that time, you know?
Right,
There's a lot of DMX. There was like Papa Roach. It was like a good, like, I don't know if, it was one of those things where kids would go to like the mall to buy.
You know what? I
sports
know
memorabilia.
exactly what you're talking about now that you're telling me, and I remember even just going there to listen to shit to like,
Yeah, because they had the listening booths.
Yeah, they had the listening booths.
Yeah.
And it was always funny to see people in their listening booth when they really get in their bag though, like, and their cut really is on, and they're with the headphones on. It's like, yo, you look crazy right now to the
But
rest
that's that's the power of the sounds, man. And it's like, I'll never hate anybody that just completely loses their shit to music. They don't even need the drugs or the alcohol, you know?
No, for real.
And I think that's why we're all connected. Me and all my friends, and why I'm doing this stuff is like, we all understand the power and the gift that is one, listening to music, but also creating it on your guys' end, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, to go back to your parents were very open-minded. So you go to Nigeria and you take a bunch of music with you. Do you have CDs at that time?
Yeah, I had a bunch of CDs at that time. That was like where all my shit was. Fabulous. I remember from my Fabulous CD.
Youngin.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I had a bunch of CDs, but then I started, in Nigeria, we were behind. So when I got there, I realized like they were a year
or two
behind, just in like some of the stuff that is coming on. That's like the things that I like is shit that's like I've already seen. It's in my past.
That's funny, and you're 8 years old and you know.
Yeah.
Like, I already know about this stuff. I was into this in second grade.
And so it forced me to kind of now start like finding other music out there. So when I was out there, I listened to a lot of Craig David.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of like Dido.
So stuff from like the UK or like more Euro.
Yeah, UK was more fast forward over there. Because it's more closer, more connected.
Yeah, it was getting to that area faster.
Yeah, so I'm getting the UK like sound like immediately almost like that, and that's more of the stuff that was going on while I was out there.
Yeah, and that's a privilege to look back on as a kid, to get American classics, bring them with you, and then learn UK classics or European artists and diving into that world.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense that a lot of the theme in your life is you constantly moving around, so you're gathering music from all over the place.
And and I was just thinking about that, and I'm like that's probably why like my music is like very vast in like the direction and sound, and also I'm thinking like. Every place that I moved to, the music was very different, but also like very like impressionable from where I came from.
Okay.
So like when I left from America and I moved to Nigeria, like I said, I'm getting more of just that UK sound because it's what's current at that time. The American stuff is more delayed, so it's just like forced upon you. So I kind of had to like grab this sound and just like listen to, gravitate it, and just kind of like enjoy bits and pieces. A lot of Daft Punk that I listened to out there as well.
Because it was coming up around that time.
Yeah,
99,
so it was
2000.
exactly. So I was like, a lot of Daft Punk was going on out there. So I was forced to kind of listen to those sounds. And then when I moved to Houston, I just, dude, you don't understand. Like, I'm hearing chopped and screwed music.
Yeah, of course.
I've never heard anything like you hear right now. I'm talking so slow.
Yeah.
It's because I've lived in Houston so long.
There you go.
Sorry for any of the listeners. Like, I talk slow because I've been in Houston so long. But, like, I get there and the music is, like, slowed down. It's this whole different vibe.
Yeah.
They don't care about what's going on. They don't care about anything else but their sound.
Yeah, man, and that's why I always have love for Texas and Houston specifically, because they have their own world of rap and hip hop that is one of one.
Right,
you know,
right.
Nothing else, but it inspired so much future artists after that too.
Exactly.
Obviously, Drake learned a lot of this stuff from Houston,
Right.
and all these guys coming up. And with your siblings, are they putting you up on some music too?
Me and my siblings, yeah, like.
Or are you doing finding out a lot of stuff on your own too?
Yeah, I'm finding out tons of stuff on my own. But my brother, my older brother, he had the access to like the homie that would burn all the CDs.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then, so he was the one that was making it really all possible.
That was the dealer before the drugs, you know?
Exactly, like the guy that could burn those CDs.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, he was a kingpin at the school. Like,
necessity.
he was rolling in the bank. So
Hell yeah.
so yeah, he had a guy, and that was how I got like all my shit. So my brother would pass me a lot of CDs. He would give me a lot of records that I wouldn't expect because he burnt a lot of music all the time.
Hell yeah, and that's like, I appreciate those aspects too, because my uncle was like my older brother, and he put me up on the Wu-Tang, the Prodigy,
Yeah,
like everything.
dude, I
you know
listened
what I mean?
to a lot of Wu-Tang when I was in Nigeria as well too. That's what actually got me to start writing.
Dope.
It was Wu-Tang, listening to Wu-Tang and Eminem. I believe those people got me to like start crafting and, like I said, and begin writing.
Yeah, and as a kid, you're looking up like, what does he mean with these words? And you go into the dictionary and you're looking it up, and you're like, what? Like, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah. So like that's when I started writing music and just getting into it from like just putting my ideas on paper in a way. That's how
and in Nigeria, did you have family, like cousins and stuff, that you would meet up and like do music with, or you just did it?
They were the ones that inspired me. Like, they were the ones that, one of my cousins rapped, and he rapped fast as fuck.
Hell yeah.
And he was the one that like kind of influenced, you know, me into just like, yo, you could write your ideas down and spit them.
Hell
you know?
yeah.
So that's how I started writing it down and watching him.
When's the last time you went back to Nigeria?
I haven't been back since I left.
Since you were a kid?
Yeah, since
Damn.
03.
Shit,
03
I want
free 03 Greedo.
There you go. Yeah, you need. Damn, I definitely need to hit Nigeria at least once before I cash out of this planet, dude.
You've been all over the place. You got to, fam.
Yeah, man. But so then you come back to Houston, and are you recording music at that time when you're in middle school, or is it still not yet?
Nah, I didn't record music until I got to college.
Okay, and then
actually, my first recordings was in high school, but like that was on my homie's mixtape, and then
did you do high school in Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, and then when I went to college, that's when I first started actually recording that, and that's like at that point I was just a guitarist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been playing guitar too for a while.
I started at this point for a while, but I started actually my senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, my senior year of high school.
And what made you get back in, bringing back the guitar into your life? Like, were you around like rocker fools, or what's the situation?
Everybody knows, like, I'm a huge Haley Williams Paramore fan, Josh Farrow, like the original like gang, the original cast, and so there was an MTV performance actually, and Paramore was doing like a little side segment or something, and Josh Farrow had a solo piece, and at that time I didn't recognize it as being like staged, but like when he did this solo piece, like the whole crowd broke out and like ran to like the island stage that he was at. And I was like, yo, I gotta do that.
Hell yeah.
Like, and that was it. And then I was like, yo, the next day, like, I grabbed my homie his brother had like an acoustic guitar that like was missing like the high E string. And I said, yo, I need this. Because I'm actually about to do something with this. And I low-key like just kind of like took that from his brother until like my brother and sister bought me my first like guitar.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and like Paramore's a monumental band, especially for that era of time where, you know, they were authentic with the rock shit. You know, they're undeniably good, and they went on and moved into the more popular sound. But
yeah, and which is to me is still good. Like I still love what they do now. But Josh Farrow, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a diehard Haley fan, but I love Josh Farrow.
Yeah.
That because him writing those guitar parts and stuff like that really like took Paramore to like a different place.
Is that Misery Business, or is it the one before Emergency and shit like that?
So Josh Farrow and Haley Williams, they're like the two originals.
Okay.
Like they're Paramore.
Yeah.
In a way, at least to me. They're Paramore, and then like they would have people that would like I'm telling their story.
No,
like,
but that's
they
cool,
would
'cause
have
it's inspired
people.
you.
They would have people like other like guitarists stand in. You could tell they were still kind of figuring out like the people that were going to be really solid with them. So even from like Emergency and all that shit, they changed a lot of the guitars. But Josh Farrow and Haley have always been
the original members, and they create the sound that is Paramore.
And Josh Farrow's brother, which is the drummer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
so
he's
his
a dope ass drummer
yeah,
too.
so his brother is the drummer.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of all been, you know, the gang.
Shout out to Paramore. I remember one time when I was 15, I wasn't really into their music, but my homie Ruben was, and my homie Greg just got his license, and he was like, yo, Paramore's playing a free show in Huntington Beach. So we drove down there, and they were doing a sign after that. It was like, Cute is what we aim for and Paramore, both playing the show. Remember that band?
We said who?
Cute is what we aim for?
Of course.
Yeah. So it was both of them, and at that time, I was into, and I still am into, I was into like the whole metal shit. So I was like, I'm just going to go because it's the homies.
Right.
And I listened to Paramore at the time, and I was like, they're not bad. They know how to fucking rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we went down there, and during the signing, she was signing posters, and I was like, I had my plugs at the time, and I was like, yo, I'm about to ask this girl out on a date. And then as she's signing my poster, I bitched out. I was like, I can't do it. And like I fucking she just signed my shit. She's like, hey. And just like I shook her hand. I just kept moving. I was like, yo, I'm weak. I'm weak.
I still envy anybody because I've never seen a Paramore show, unfortunately, myself. But I still envy anybody that has seen them or had just been in that era. Like,
And what else are you listening to in high school?
Shit, man. In high school, I kind of stepped away from hip hop unless it was like Jay or like Lupe.
For sure.
Or like, shit, was Cudi out by then? Yeah, I think Cudi.
Yeah, because 2008, 2009 is when Cudi was.
Yeah,
what year did you graduate? 08?
No, 2010.
Okay, so you're a little bit younger than me, yeah. So yeah, Cudi's out for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't like Cudi, Jay, Kanye, Lil Wayne, or like Lupe.
All the titans of that era.
Yeah,
dude.
you get me? That's what I was kind of, I mean, I still, of course, listen to like rap a lot, you know, but even like Rap a Lot, the label, you know what I mean? But I was like mainly, that's when I kind of dipped and started listening to a lot of like pop genres, songwriting stuff, rock, alternative, The Killers, just jumping into a lot because like The Killers would like come on every morning before I went to school and shit on MTV still, so I would like got into them like really heavy. Just a lot of things, man. Like,
and then so you're writing in high school, end of high school.
Yeah.
You start writing.
Yeah.
And then you said you started recording in college. Where do you go to college at?
I went to college at Texas State.
Okay.
So I was going to Texas State. At that time, like I said, I was just like a songwriter, guitarist.
Do you meet other musicians there, or what's the case?
So my homies that were going to school, I went to school to high school with them. Two of them, Donovan and X, they went to school with me to Texas State, and they actually decided that they were going to be in a group already. and record.
Them two?
Yeah, them two.
And they're doing hip hop, or
They're
what are they
doing
doing?
hip hop. Yeah, they're gonna do a hip hop, rap, and do all this shit. So originally, I was just helping them with like doing live shit. You know, whether it's interpreting
Okay,
shit,
yeah,
making
yeah.
acoustic.
Yeah.
But then once they bought the like studio, I fucking jumped on one of the records, and everybody loved like my part, my
Okay.
section, and that's when I kind of like got into it.
So this was a feature that you did with your boys. You weren't technically in the group yet.
Nope.
And what was the sound? What were they aiming for? Were they like lyrical guys, or were they trying to be?
At that time,
turn
you
up
gotta
shit?
remember, like, oh my gosh, like Wiz Khalifa.
Okay, turn up shit.
Era.
But it was still lyrical because
but
Cushion Orange
yeah,
Juice still,
it's like
you know,
very smooth
Yeah.
vibes, like
Currency and that whole.
Currency,
Yeah.
Cuddy. You know, those guys are still the leaders
Yeah.
of the gang. Kanye's obviously like, if you really know what you're doing, you can go do some Kanye shit.
Yeah.
But so we were kind of in that bag, but like really on some smoking music, like smoking
Yeah,
vibes type shit,
Yeah.
like that. So
Did those guys go on and still do music? Do you still keep in touch with them? Or?
yeah, those are still my guys. Like
Dope.
we don't create anymore like that, but those are my guys. Those are
Yeah.
my family. Like
For sure.
you know, so
So Texas State, and then you. So once everyone figured like you're a problem, but for the better as a feature,
Yeah.
you continue. You're like, yo, I'm gonna start recording my music from there.
Nah, I was working with the group for a minute for 2 years.
Okay.
And I always planned to come back to LA.
Yeah.
Going back to my story and growing up, it's like because I felt like I was robbed from LA.
Yeah.
I always like planned to come back and just see this shit that we're seeing right now, the trees and the fucking breeze, and
For
you
sure,
know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
just get that vibe again. And so I was like, yo, what better place to take this music shit and expand it than LA?
Yeah.
So I was just trying to come out here and plant the seed so that my homies could come out here later.
Yeah.
And we could do our thing out here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when I did come out here, the group back home kind of fell apart. And that's what forced me into going into my own kind of bag and trying to figure out, damn, what's a solo career?
Yeah.
I never wanted to be like a solo artist. I never wanted to be the main artist, actually.
You never wanted to be that?
No.
Oh, shit.
That's why I started off as a guitarist and a songwriter. Like, I wanted to be the backup, like the lead guitarist
Yeah,
of somebody.
Josh Farrell type shit, yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So, and I just wrote songs and I would give them to singers and I would play the guitar parts. So I never planned to be like the front man like
Yeah,
that. You get
yeah.
me? So it was kind of just a thing that was happening and I was realizing it as I was going, you know?
That's crazy. That's crazy that you had originally set out to be, you know, someone's Josh Farrell essentially, you know?
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
And you can't always still be that. I mean, you still got a lot of life in this music shit, you know?
That's still one a place that I hold dear. Like, I'm definitely down to just play my guitar and
Hell
shut
yeah.
up.
And then you come out to LA after college. And what year is that? Around like 2013?
Yeah, exactly.
And LA's booming at that time, obviously.
Yep.
And you come over here, do you have people you already were linking up with when you get to LA?
Nah, I was fucking
Solo dolo.
Dolo.
Yeah.
I was dolo. And that's kind of what made me start producing. I didn't have really any producers to work with. I'm getting B-list beats. No disrespect, but you know, they just weren't sending me their best shit.
Yeah, they
you
wasn't
know?
hitting in your style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so that's when I just like the homie taught me how to use Logic.
Yeah.
And I started producing on there and just like working at that time I'm still looking at myself like a producer. So I'm still working with a lot of like developing artists and just developing their sound and creating the beats behind it, and that was going great for a minute until I just kind of got tired of just like waiting.
Yeah, that's a big part of the music game in LA, huh?
Yeah, like
just a lot of waiting. Finding out who you want to really fuck with, and a lot of people are fickle too, because a lot of shit's happening too. There's either the partying or you got to work your 9 to 5,
Life.
and So, are you meeting up with people through Instagram, or what's the case when you get to LA
I'm
at that
meeting
time?
up. I'm still at school, so I'm meeting up with people through school
Okay.
and all that shit.
Were you
like
going
that.
where were you going to school for?
I was in Pomona. Oh, what was I going?
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to school, grinding it out.
At Cal Poly?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Dope.
Yeah, so I'm doing fucking one of the hardest majors,
Yeah.
but I'm still focused on music and working on that like all day, going up. Like,
Yeah.
I was going up. I was turning that place up.
Hell yeah.
Like, are you crazy?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and so then I just started like working with a couple people that had talent developing.
From Cal Poly too?
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
from Cal Poly, people that then my network started growing because I had some beats and songs that I did that started blowing up on SoundCloud and shit.
Dope.
And so that's how my network started growing, my name started growing, and just staying in the game.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Just keep like.
And then where does your meeting with Spence and OTXOA come in, Alex? Or it
Shit.
has to be around that same time though, no, right?
See, it's funny because me and Spence met before I met Alex, and me and Spence met, and whenever I'm like getting into project mode, I get really crazy.
Yeah.
I get psycho, like, and I talk a lot. So me and Spence meet, and we have a session, and I'm like trying to like explain like the sound that I want my shit to go to and shit like that.
Like you're doing vocals and guitar, and I assume that Spence is producing, right?
We're right at this point, we're just fucking kicking it.
Yeah.
And I'm mouthing off like, yo, this is what my da-da-da.
Explaining the vision.
Yeah, explain the vision. And at that time, Spence's roommate, he was also a producer.
Alex and Alex.
So, is it Alex?
Was it Alex at the time? Yeah.
Oh, he's Alex as well?
Yeah, there's
Oh,
all kinds of Alex.
shit,
But yeah,
man.
there's Tierheimer, there's Everett,
oh
there's
my
all kinds
God.
of.
So Alex,
Yeah.
we're all in the room, we're all in the session, and we produce the first record that's like starts the Artist Unknown project,
Okay, yeah.
which is Misconnections, which is actually the last song
sure.
on the project.
Yep.
But that was the first record that I made actually for that project. We did that, and I was like inspired to like, all right, like let's go. Like,
Yeah.
You know.
And
So-
that was obviously later on, like 2000. You put that out 2018, 2017.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
And you have music up online still
Yeah,
prior
at
to
that
that.
point, I have some music up. I'm grinding and shit like that. I had a couple songs that did some things and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of figuring it out. I'm throwing a lot of things at the wall at this point.
And Artist Unknown is when you start incorporating your guitar playing heavy,
that's
right?
when I really start like diving into my sound.
Because prior to that, it's a little bit more trap beats. It was a little bit more modern
Yeah.
rap beat.
At that point, it's just like I'm just kind of like developing shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't really focused on my sound.
Yeah, it sounds like you were carrying still that smoke and chill music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And I wasn't really that focused on like my sound. I never asked myself, what is your shit gonna sound like? Because I just plan to be working with and for other artists.
Yeah.
So I never really asked myself that. So when I started to ask myself those questions,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I created like Jeep. I created Jeep in like 2015 though.
Okay, for sure. And then
see,
you brought that back.
so maybe that's like the first song that I created off Artist Unknown, because Jeep I created in 2015.
Yeah.
And I actually released it in 2016, but I re-released it on the project
album.
because it fit. It was one of those records that I had created one night going crazy, and it's like it was a snippet of what I wanted to do.
Move forward with,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so Artist Unknown comes out, and you're linked up with Spence and your other producers and artists out in LA.
So so me and Spence worked on that record, Misconnections, and then we worked on Notice Me.
Okay,
We worked on those two records, and then after that, I had so much inspiration that I went home and I produced the other 10 records
Yeah.
on there.
So you produced the rest of the track. It was just you and
Yeah.
The rest of the album is just all you.
Yeah, exactly. So the rest of the album, it's me, and then my boy Samo Dejan, which we did the Hot Boy record.
Okay.
He had this beat lying around, and we took that record. I took that record and I sampled it. I sampled that record, so that was another contribution that I had to the project. But I went in and I really produced. When I made Sip Tea, I was in my room for like 2 days, and I didn't leave. And I worked on that record, and that's when I was like, yeah, like I'm here, like
for sure.
Yeah.
And at that point, I feel like you've kind of gauged where you want to go as an artist.
Yeah.
You're feeling a little bit more confident in the sound you want to put out.
Yeah.
And then, so where does that take into play? Where you guys go see Jungle out in Joshua Tree? Because from what I hear, you also have a cousin or one of your homeboys that does music too, right? Son?
Yeah, exactly. So so it's funny. So my cousin. Sonny
Cologne, for those who don't know.
Yeah, he it's funny because he came in. My first time meeting him was actually in Nigeria.
Okay.
He
as a kid, did you?
Yeah, as a kid. When he came and he lived out there with us for a little bit, for like a year.
Okay. Are you guys around the same age?
He's older than me. He's like my brother's age.
For sure.
And so, but yeah, we that's my first time encountering him, and then he came back to LA and stuff like that. But Spence ironically knew him as well.
Yeah. And I remember him bringing his name up in like 2010 or 11.
Really? Yeah.
Like from Brea.
And he honestly, like he's a huge inspiration to, I would say, just me moving in as like a solo artist and stuff like that. But besides the fact, me and Spence, during Coachella weekend, he hits me up. He's like, yo, I got this extra ticket for this Jungle.
Yeah. Have you heard of them already prior to that?
At that point, no.
Okay.
I hadn't. And he's like, do you want to go? But I'm just down for whatever. And I'm like, yo, let's fucking go. We get there, and Spence is telling me all about them. Like, these guys are great, and I'm listening to their music, and I'm like, yo, these guys, they're like on some ABBA shit, and they kind of remind me of.
That's funny that you say that, because I didn't put that together, and I've seen them live.
Yeah.
But they definitely have that. What I imagine ABBA sounded like in that grand scheme.
You get what
little
I'm saying?
disco.
So when he put that on, it kind of, like I said, my mom put me on that as a child, so like it kind of brought that feel back. So I was like, I'm excited.
That's hard.
And so
that's
we
dope.
get there, they fucking killed the show. I'm talking about like the Sonics. It was special. Like, I was like, wow. I was just standing there amazed, and I was telling Spence too, like, I haven't been that amazed like in a show, and I've seen a lot of people.
I hear you, man.
In a while, and they really shocked me. And so they actually like they had a cabin right outside, like,
of the show. Yeah.
They had like an Airbnb or some shit, because this is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. But Joshua Tree has some crazy energy, though.
And they got some crazy vibes. And so they had this cabin that's like there, and I'm talking to Spence, and we're in the whip. We're about to dip. Yeah. Like, we're about to go home. I'm like, bruh. He's telling me like, yo, man, this is a dope like this band is like, and I'm like, yo, they're legendary. Like, they're on some shit. I'm like, we got to kick it with them.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck were you? And I'm like, you know, they're right there. Like, it's gonna go up right there.
Yeah.
And you know, we're kind of like
scoping the situation,
and I'm so confident though.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, I do this. Like,
you gotta be. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
We're getting in there. And literally, it's ironic. Like, as we're walking up, like, I don't know if like the door guy or whoever, the guy that was there checking shit, like, goes takes a piss or some shit. And like, we just pull up
like something out of a movie.
Yeah, literally. And we pull up in there, and like, everybody's just like glad to see us.
Yeah.
In a way, it's the craziest thing. Like, as if we know what the vibe, and like, we fucking we got lit with Jungle like that whole night. It was
Hell
fucking
yeah.
sick.
Hey
bro.
man, and those are the benefits that you get sometimes of taking that risk, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
you guys could have gone home, or you could have made the night a little bit even more memorable and do exactly what you did.
Exactly, man.
That's
like
dope.
I'm a firm believer of like just taking them shots. Like you never
got
know.
to. You got to,
never know.
man. Life is a goddamn risk, and if you fucking don't take some of those opportunities, you never know what you're gonna miss. You know.
You gotta ride on faith, man.
So by that time, you guys go to the jungle stuff, and then you and Spence are solidified boys, friends. You know.
Yeah.
And then how do you get into the whole modeling aspect?
So-
were you already doing this prior to everything we just talked about?
Nah, I was against modeling because I was against modeling because I just was afraid, I guess, of like the framing of how I would be framed if I was a model and like how it would affect like my music and my art. You know
That
what
makes
I mean?
sense, yeah.
Because my art is my image in a way as well.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So I was kind of weary of that. So I was against it. My sister actually had been trying to get me into this since like I was like a
Does your sister
teenager.
model then?
She's an actress.
Oh, she's an actress.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So she's an actress. So she's been trying to get me into it for a while, and I've been against it. And but I used to just shoot artistic shit with one of the homies, the homegirls, and she actually submitted my pictures to an agency.
For sure.
And the agency calls me in, and this is like 2017. And the agency calls me in for a meeting. I'm like, what would a meeting hurt? I go to the meeting. Once I go to the meeting, they're like, yo, we're trying to sign you. I'm like, okay, what would signing to them hurt? I signed with them. I actually book my first audition that I go on. And I work one day, and I received the most money I've ever been paid on a day. And I was like,
and what was the stipulation for an interview though? Like did you go in obviously dress fly? Because you got sharp features.
I didn't go in. No, I just went in on some regular shit because they wanted me to come in.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in, but my friend already submitted me to this place, and they wanted me to go to some place. I had a free day, and I went. So I was chilling.
From what I understand, you did a modeling gig with Tangeray, the gin.
Yeah, man.
Does that happen quick, or what's the situation with that?
I mean, nothing is quick. Everything is, blessing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the opportunity to work with them and do a campaign for them. And one day I get a message from the director, and he texts me, and it's like this fucking, it's one of the pictures that we did, and it's like printed, and it just looks like it's on a wall. I'm like, yo, where is this? He's like, yo, this is off fucking Sunset, or this is like right by Bossa Nova.
There you go.
Right there by Rouse.
Yeah.
I pull up, and this shit is like, it's fucking larger than life, and it was like my first billboard. So that was like super, like, just crazy experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man.
Like humbling, like everything, like just to be on.
It's a championship
in the city.
feeling, you know?
Yeah, it's like to be in the city that you're working, you're grinding in and stuff like that. So like that was really dope moment.
Hell yeah, that's dope. And from there, do you link up with Reese Cooper after that, or were you already affiliated with?
What's so funny about the Reese Cooper thing? I was in Vegas. I was losing that trip.
Yeah.
Low key. Usually when I'm going Vegas, I'm on the craps. Like I'm a eat.
Yeah.
But I'm taking a couple L's. But I'm on the craps table. I'm like on 1%. My phone on 1%. I'm like I'm deep in this game right now. My agent hits me like, yo, tomorrow, you got a show. You have to this runway show for Reese Cooper, and it's all this information and this and that, and this at this time it's but known to me. But I just tell her like, all right, like I'm down. My phone dies.
Oh shit.
But right after I send that message, and I just get back to Vegas, I'm on the tables.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where do you got to be back in LA?
In LA.
Yeah.
I get to my phone. I charge my phone, but that's by like this 5 hours go by. lose 200, losing bread, charge my phone, gets the whip, charge my phone. It said, yo, you gotta be in LA tomorrow fucking morning for this show. I'm in Vegas right now. It's fucking 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fucking bust down back to LA that night. Go to sleep, try and get some sleep, get ready for the show. Lovely ass show.
Yeah.
That was a crazy show. Part of it was like during the pandemic. So it was like one of the virtual shows.
Oh, so this is recent.
Yeah. So this was one of the virtual shows. Like, so this was my first time linking up, and it was at the show that we did. That was shot out here, and but
have you done like runway shows prior to that?
No. At that point, I had not done runway shows at all. So this was a dope introduction to be part of.
Yeah.
Like Paris Fashion Week, but still be in LA. You know what I'm saying? So that was like a dope link up, and then we just did the other show, the second show. That was like last year, like late last year. For
sure.
Yeah.
And then so from there, you've developed a relationship with the company then, and they obviously keep hitting you up. You have a good rapport with like dressing fly for him.
Yeah, like I mean, Reese is just a dope guy. He's a dope dude, and like when we've just through work, we've got time to really like build a connection, and I've been able to like just see his vision and what he represents, and it's very like dope, and share my vision too and what I represent too, just as an artist and stuff like that. So
it still hits the same standard of quality that you want as an artist.
Yeah, like.
And now, you were saying that you never saw it as something that you wanted to do. Do you look at modeling now as something that's just as heavy artillery as your music game too now? Yeah,
like I love it. Like I can't complain. I'm not gonna, I have any complaints about, the shit that's been alluded and gave to me, and not only music, because people don't know this, but like my first art. The art that I came out the womb with is drawing.
Okay.
So like as a kid, like I could draw your face like right now.
Hell yeah.
So like drawing is like a big art piece of mine. So I've always just kind of like, stayed in the art. But music is like what I'm sharing right now. My art, I've never been like that.
You haven't displayed it to the people yet.
Yeah, I haven't been. I mean, like ready to be like. Put my shit out there, like out there and stuff like that. But yeah.
So and you said the modeling thing was during the pandemic, and you're putting out like you're doing virtual stuff for the virtual modeling show, and you put out social distancing during that time too, right?
Yeah, man. It's so funny because right before I put out social distance, after Artist Unknown, the album comes out.
Yeah.
And I'm, performing after that. We fucking sell out the Peppermint Club. We going on a roll, actually.
Hell yeah.
But then people are like, where's the new music?
Yeah.
Immediately, like a month after, everywhere I go, the people are like, yo, what's next? What's next? I'm like, yo, I just fucking produced
this whole album.
But I'm like, I'm living right now, but people, I didn't at that time know like the consumption of like music and like, how people like need it. They need it right now. So I kind of was learning, the industry, started learning the industry a little bit. And, but right before the pandemic, I kind of got a little, down in a way about how music was going at that time in a way. Because you have this thing as an artist, and I know there's artists that can maybe relate to this, where it's like we're at this stage where it's like, all right, I go in my room, I create, I might put my soul on the line one day in the studio and like really pour some shit out, and I come out with this record, this sonic. And now I got to figure out, how am I going to get it to you? And back in the day, there were all these different ways to get it to you. And to me, at least, there were all these different ways at least expected to get it to you. But now as we move more into like the digital era and stuff like that, it's like gotta sum all this emotion or theory or feeling or love and all this into like a post, and then come up with a caption or something that's gonna get you to get to that part.
I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like there's a disconnect in a way in like getting to the consumer.
And do you feel exhausted or discouraged because of that?
Not that I feel at this time I was feeling I just wasn't feeling the love and the authenticity of being an artist.
Okay.
Which is why I got into this in the first place. Like I said, I wanted to be on that stage hitting that solo, you know what I'm saying, feeling that vibe, that energy. So I just wasn't feeling the energy. Even though things are going good, you're getting, this and that, you're doing things, you know what I'm saying, but it's just because of where we're going. It's like learning how to also be an artist in the future.
I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's not the same. The expectancies aren't the same. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm expected to get you to, listen to this record by like giving you this picture post, right? There's it's not an emotion right there. There's an emotional gap, that I was at the time not knowing how to like feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually took back from releasing records, and this is at the end of like 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of 2019, mid to end of 2019, I stopped releasing MP3s, and I started going back to doing shows only.
Okay.
So if you wanted to see Floyd or Floyd Zion experience, if you wanted to feel me at all, any kind of energy I had or any record, you would have to fucking come see me.
Hell yeah.
So I was on a show binge before Netflix, before the pandemic. I was on a show binge, just going all over the city.
And you're playing different bars or venues and shit?
Yeah, I'm bars, venues, shows put together with other artists.
Dope.
Through my booking agent, shows through my booking agent. So I'm all over. I'm booked 3 shows a month at this point.
And you're not on a label though, right?
No, I'm
fucking it's independent artist.
Yeah, I'm an independent artist. So, but yeah, I mean, I've had a booking agent since fucking, I think, for shows like since 2015, 2016. So I've been working with them, and so they're booking me shows. So I'm doing a lot right now, staying busy. And then the pandemic happens. We just did the craziest show in LA. Like we just rocked out the Moroccan Lounge.
Yeah.
A month before the pandemic. So we looking for the next gig. Like it's hot in the city.
Yeah.
Like we taking over LA low key, and pandemic happens.
Yeah. And everything shuts down.
My whole plan goes to shit. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my whole plan goes to shit, and I said, damn, I got to step into the studio again.
And then that's when you put out You're Wrong in Social Distance?
That's when, so I had just started, having some sessions again, and that's when I started having sessions with Ochoa.
Okay.
We started really locking in a lot right before the pandemic in February.
Yeah.
We locked in, and we got some crazy shit that's coming. So
it's not, obviously you guys haven't released it yet.
Me and Ochoa haven't released anything that we've cooked up, but we got some shit. So we started cooking up, luckily. So I started getting into a vibe, and then I created Social Distance, just because I wanted to create a record. Like I remember listening to like Bob Dylan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could listen to Bob Dylan, and I could really understand like the Vietnam time.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
Some of those things. Or you listen to Nina Simone, and you could understand. You listen to a song, and you could just understand what happened in
during that time, for sure.
And that's what I wanted to do with Social Distance.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do a cliche social distance song and this and that. I wanted to do a dope, vibey song that when you do listen to it, you understand like that happened in 2020.
That era, yeah.
Nobody else has ever felt that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when you look at the lyrics of like Social Distance and shit, like it's it's describing exactly what's going on.
Definitely.
You know, when I'm screaming like we're going nowhere, go nowhere, like that's like the inner soul that's like screaming at us this whole last year. Like,
yeah, for sure. It definitely brought out a whole new feeling, and of sometimes it was dark. Like, you know, you feel depressed because you know, everything that we had at our disposal and at our opportunity to go out and meet people and all that stuff, we had to go back in and like really understand what's happening out there, on top of all the fuckery that was happening politically and with the police and all that stuff too.
So yeah, last year they tried to kill a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a real test, you know, to be not only not getting those things that drive your confidence, right? Because like, you got to understand, for a whole year, none of us got that random compliment.
For
Think
sure.
about that. Like, think about those days when you feel like shit, but then you're walking down the street and somebody's like, yo, you're
That's
killing
a
this.
shirt or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
And that shit gets you to the fucking next month, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't happen for a year.
Yeah.
Shit like that, the little, oh shit, thank you, the nice gestures, those little things that like really motivate you and say, damn, that guy was nice to me, I'm gonna be nice to the next guy.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
All that shit was gone. So you're really relying on yourself, your own fucking energy.
Yeah.
And then with all the stuff that was going on in the world, it's like, damn, you really want me to be a champion this year, 2020, right? So it was a tough year for sure.
And how do you feel coming out of that whole experience? You know, you dropped those 2 singles and then you dropped Yeah Right in 2021.
Yeah, that's my latest single. Yeah Right, dropped that, but I created Yeah Right last year. A lot of the stuff that I'm releasing right now is stuff that I started working on last year and like the end of last 2019. Those are some of the vibes that I'm putting out right now.
Dope.
You know, just getting them out there and stuff like that. But I'm also cooking up something.
Yeah, so you got stuff that you're constantly working on, and you know, we're in a new year. It's happening. It's moving fast.
Yeah.
But things are opening back up, and people are linking back up, and everything that you said that we missed for a whole year, I feel like we're fortunate enough to slowly starting to grab those things back, right?
Exactly.
It's gonna take some time, but you know what? It's gonna happen. And so you dropped Yeah Right, and I love that song lyrically because it does challenge, going back to what we were talking about, the corporate jobs. And now motherfuckers, the pandemic should have taught you that if you're working for a corporation, it showed for a lot of people how disposable you are.
Yeah, man.
You go to school to get this degree to work in an office, and a lot of those people were like, peace, you know, like dropped them like flies. The ones at the top, and they stayed rich. And where are you at? You know, financially, a lot of people were in the gutter.
Yeah, man. Like, it's always been a thing, and I wrote that song from my own experience too. You know what I'm saying? I've done corporate, and I chose the lifestyle that I'm living now, like as an independent artist, because at the corporate job that I was working at, the owner of the company, he still worked there.
Oh shit! So he was a worker and an owner.
And he's a sole proprietor owner, and this is a $1 billion company.
Yeah.
And this guy's at work daily, and I'm like, wait, there's a disconnect right now, because I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, he has the most enthusiasm out of all of us. And I started connecting it like, yeah, that's because this is his shit.
Yeah.
This is his shit. Like, if I started something that became $1 billion, I would never stop it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And that's when I started understanding, like, I gotta start it.
For sure.
I gotta start it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what that song is representing to anybody. It's like, even if corporate's your world, like, or whatever the fuck is you think is gonna really get you to it, it's like, you gotta start it.
Yeah, and there has to be a form of independence through whatever hustle you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could work corporate. This is not to say, fuck, this and that. Like, you could work a corporate job. That's no problem. But like, understand, like, you're not put on this earth for that purpose.
Yeah, you're not here to work for someone else, man. Like,
yeah.
I personally don't believe that. And while it does, unfortunately, through capitalism and corporatism, they go hand in hand for workers to work for someone else.
You see, what I actually believe, and I'm gonna take it even further, is like, I don't believe we're put on this earth to work at all. The sense of a job in general, like, because even that's one thing that kind of drove me nuts about the music shit, is like, it's still a job.
Yeah, for sure.
Modeling, it's still a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's all a job. It's all work. And you know why it's work? It's not that I don't love it. It's that the expectancy to get a dollar out of it.
Yeah.
You see, once you do that, it's work.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that's why we get so misled, I feel like, in life.
Yeah, we're chasing a something that is as it is everlasting, something like money. It's not necessarily something that fills the space that brings joy in life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's like,
you actually end up ironically creating a void in yourself.
So honestly, that's why lately, like, I've been just kind of like, I've really kind of switched my mindset. And it's funny, as things are opening up, like, things are getting clear for me, and I'm like, I'm just really just like understanding, like, you gotta really just do things out of the love, like, in general, and not in no cheesy way, and not in no cliche way, but like, truly, like, when you think about why you want to do something, you have to find, you might have monetary reasons around it as well, but you gotta, like, know, like, why you love that part. You gotta find that part and do it for that part.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? So, like,
I think the pandemic taught a lot of people that too. You slow down. We slow down for a reason. And while, yes, there was a virus running rampant, and there was a lot of, fucked up shit politically happening, you got to take, as an individual, you got to look, and what do you prioritize in life?
Yeah, man.
What do you prioritize in life? Because a lot of it was, we were chasing money for momentary, we were chasing a 9 to 5 to get fucked up on the weekend and just do that till we die, or till you have kids and you can't do it no more, whatever the case may be. And people had their priorities fucked up.
Exactly. And, like, during the pandemic, like, almost a year ago to this day, like, I found out, like, my one of my best friends, he had, like, terminal cancer.
Oh, fuck.
And he's my age, young lad, fucking hustler, like, bulldog. I mean, since I came to Houston, like, we've been hustling together, getting bread together. Like, I grew up, if I've ever looked up to anybody or had an influencer, it was my guy, and, like, when I got the news, like, yo, my guy got 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks, and I flew to Houston during the pandemic, and to see my guy. My guy passed away in 2 weeks.
Oh, man. Sorry, dude.
So it really, like, and that whole time that I spent in Houston was like such therapy for me, because it took me out of the music, it took me away from everything, and it really put a lot of things in perspective for me. You know what I'm saying? And just, like, really what's really going on right now, because I was with I wasn't physically with my guy, but I was talking to my guy in his last days. You know what I'm saying? And I saw what was important to him. You get me?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, somebody that almost knows that it's coming to an end, and you get to tap in with this person, like it's almost like speaking to the dead in a way.
Definitely.
Like, and it's like this is as close as it gets, but and just seeing what was important to my guy, I can't forget that. You get me above everything else that goes on in the world that's real and impressionable and like cute and, you know, sporty and cloudy. All that shit's cool, but when something like that is like happens, it really, I think something like it really puts perspective.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's meaningful. It destroys you, but it rebuilds you.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's why I'm now changing my approach. That's why I'm ready. That's why I'm fucking excited. That's why I got a smile on my face.
Yeah, to move forward
because I'm doing things for the right reason. A lot hasn't really just changed, and like niggas is still getting to it. Niggas is still doing all that. But I'm doing it for the right reason.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of going back to. Like you could have monetary, you know, plants and shit. You could have, you know, all that shit going on. Cool. But do shit for the right reason.
No, I totally get it, man. That's an amazing way to describe, you know, moving forward and just prioritizing what is meaningful to you as a person and the people around you. You know?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so we'll end it on a positive note. With that being said, like, cause that was I respect that story, but so you have music on the way. You're gonna pursue the modeling gig moving forward with all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
And
and I feel like before we even close it,
yeah.
Outside of, you know, anything, if there's anything that you or Spence want to ask, now's the time. Now's the fucking time to shoot the shits.
Okay, for sure. I mean, I personally feel like I've asked everything that I needed to get out of you as an artist, and knowing that you're going to put out more projects moving forward, I definitely would, like, now I have a greater gauge of where you're at as an artist and who you are as a person.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, you have a lot of substance and a lot of history, too, and I respect it. But do you have anything for him, Spence? Straight up. Because I do see you moving forward and becoming, you know, bigger than where you're at right now, moving forward in life. You know, I see a lot of big things happening to you.
Yeah, man. The music that's gonna be coming out soon, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. It's gonna be lovely. The stuff that I'm creating right now. So, man, like I can't even explain like sonically where it's going.
Oh, hell yeah. No, I'm stoked for it.
Yeah.
And I will say this, though. When you do plan on going back to Nigeria, me and Spence are going with you.
Hey, that's a fucking bet,
let's
bro.
do it.
Like, for real.
So hopefully we keep connecting after this, and, you know, we get to see the beauty of the world, you know?
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you. And
yeah,
thank you guys for having me on the podcast. Like, I've been seeing you guys do y'all thing for a minute, and I love what you guys got going on here.
Thank you, man.
So this is a pleasure. Anytime outlets for artists to fucking share what's going on outside of the music and
let them know. Let them know.
Like always fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys because it's y'all that keep the artists alive.
Hell yeah. And that's all I want to do is like I want this to be a spot for you guys to come express the little details that people don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, for sure.
And share your experience because we all got a story to tell. And I'm excited. And it is one of those situations where I find purpose and joy in doing this.
Hell
you know?
Yeah, bro. I would not even think a better way to fucking spend my Sunday, low key.
Yeah.
Like this is a fucking vibe.
Hey, I'm stoked. So new music, more things to see from you from Floyd Zion. So be on the lookout. Thank you guys. Truanseez. We out.
Yee.
There we go.